Hey, what is up YouTube? Video here. I haven't been uploading a lot. I've been really busy with work. I had a 2-week training exercise out of state that I had to travel for. Just been really busy. So finally back. Hopefully I'll get to uploading a lot more than I have been. Today, out of just whim, I decided to try out RU. I was looking and I saw what could make a viable team for RU, just looking at the Pokemon in the tier and what style I like to play, which is generally a defensive, slow-paced game. And I saw that I could make a very viable 6th gen stall, which is pretty rare due to defog and a bunch of ways to get rid of entry hazards, especially in RU, because my team does have toxic spikes and there are a lot of poison type Pokemon in RU. But I'm at the bottom. I'm still on Loop-de-Doop for now. My opponent's at the top. This was a really great game. Generally what I'm running, Alamamala and Amoonguss to form a Regenerator core. Really solid core. Glare, Dragon Tail, Druddigon. And I'm running Iron Head to hit Fairy switch-ins in case I see Aromatisse or Slurpluff. And also Glare and Iron Head, I got a Power Flinch thing going, which is pretty cool. So he's mainly a phaser though. My Drapion with Toxic Spikes, Whirlwind, Poison Jab, and Knockoff. Knockoff really helps against other stall teams, get rid of their leftovers and whatnot. Assault Vest, Meloetta. I have no idea how this thing's RU. Assault Vest, Meloetta can take anything. She takes Choice Specs, Boom Burst from Exploud, who has like a 106 base special attack, I think. I'll correct it in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 106 base. So, Stab, Boom Burst, Choice Specs from Exploud, she takes like 30%. So, she's awesome. And then, Mega Banette, standard, Will-O-Wisp to deal with physical attackers, Destiny Bomb Taunt, and Knockoff. So I'm going to get started because it's almost 3 minutes, sorry about that. So I lead with my Banette. I lead with Banette usually because I'm not running Protect, so I like to Mega Evolve early, but I see his Choice Scarf because of Frisk, and I decide I want to keep Frisk, and I don't want to take any damage, so I switch out to a Amoonguss who can take anything from a Magneton. He Volt switches out, goes into Gallade. Now I know Gallade's probably running Knockoff, so I switch into Alamamala. Nothing on my team really likes losing its item, but I can deal with Alamamala losing its item. Switches again, goes into Gastrodon as I go for a Wish. Now I know he's going to go for Toxic, but I'd rather Toxic the Gastrodon and get my Alamamala Toxic, because I have Regenerator. I lost my leftovers, but I can use Regenerator to get around Toxic damage, I'm thinking. So he switches as I go for another Wish, which is awesome. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Switch out, go into Druddigon. So he goes for a Volt Switch. Druddigon gets fully healed from the Wish, and he goes into Skuntank. Now, I'm really unfamiliar with RU. Didn't play much last gen, haven't played it at all this gen. So I go for a Glare, and I believe a Stealth Rock. But the main reason I said I was unfamiliar is because I didn't realize Skuntank even had access to defog. But I learned something, so oh well. I get my Stealth Rocks up, switch, paralyze the Skuntank, and he goes for the defog, as I said I wasn't expecting. Now, I go for a... what do I go for here? He switches into Gastrodon. I go for a Knockoff, which is awesome because I knocked off the Gastrodon's leftovers. So it puts it in the same situation as my Alamamala, except he doesn't have Regenerator. Goes for an Earthquake as I go for a Toxic Spike. Can kill me with another Earthquake, so I switch out. So he goes for another Earthquake. Here I go for a Foul Play. Oh no, I go for a Spore, which was really stupid anyway, because anything that switched in besides Magneton, which he wouldn't have switched in anyway, would have been status, because Skuntank's paralyzed, and anything else would have been poisoned. I made a bunch of stupid Spore plays this game. I go for foul play as he goes for crunch. See, it doesn't do anything, so I switch out into Alamamala. Gets fully paralyzed. Switches out into Magneton. He's got a more fast-paced team than me, but I would call him more defensively balanced, while I'm more heavy defense. I get the wish off. Drapion lives with 7%, which is awesome. Heal him back up to 91. He switches out into Gastrodon as I go out into Meloetta, do a double switch, because Meloetta I know can take anything Magneton throws at me. Works out because he switches too, and I take out the Gastrodon with a Hyper Voice. So he switches in Gallade. I figure he'd go for the knockoff, so I switch in my Alamamala, who already lost his item. Can never look at Alamamala and think male. But I go for the Toxic as he switches in Magneton. Taking a lot of toxic damage, but it doesn't really matter because, as I mentioned, I have Regenerator. Go into Meloetta. He gets the special defense drop with Flash Cannon, but I get hacks right back as I hit with Focus Blast, which might as well be hacks anyway, and get the special defense drop. So hacks right back. I figured I could take a Sucker Punch or a Crunch. He does go for the Sucker Punch, and I take it out with a Hyper Voice, thanks to the special defense drop I got. So mine actually did matter a little bit more. He switches into Dugtrio and traps me. Takes me out with an Earthquake. Now I go into Benetti to scout item mainly, to see if it's Choice Band or Focus Sash. It is Focus Sash. He switches out. I Mega Evolve and go for a Will-O-Wisp, I believe. Yes, and the Will-O-Wisp hits. I burn a Magneton. I mean, it's kind of useless, but what can you do? Switch out, go into Drapion, who takes the Thunderbolt fairly well. I am running a specially defensive Drapion, which isn't recommended or listed, but I kind of needed it. It was required because I have a very defensively or physically defensive resistant team. I needed something that can take a special hit decent. So I get up one layer of Toxic Spikes as he switches in Dugtrio, traps me, and kills me. Go for the Glare, just because a paralyzed Dugtrio is hilarious. Get the Stealth Rocks up, so now I got one layer of Toxic Spikes up and my Stealth Rocks up, so I'm pretty happy. And the Skuntank's gone, so he's not getting rid of my Toxic Spikes. Goes for an Earthquake as I go for an Iron Head, hoping for a flinch. I don't get it, but 2 Iron Heads is enough to take it out. I'm at 38%. He switches in his Gallade, gets poisoned from my one layer of Toxic Spikes, and goes for a Psycho Cut. I go for a Dragon Tail, and I Dragon Tail in exactly what I wanted to Dragon Tail in, which was the Yanmega. And I am very happy about that. He goes for the Bug Buzz. I see he has Life Orb, and I see he has Speed Boost and not Tinted Lenses. Now, I guess this was a dumb play. I don't really know. I mean, it's I wasn't sure what the damage variants were, and I didn't want to risk dying and going for a knockout and keeping my Benetti up, so I just go for the Destiny Bond twice. If I went for knockout, I could have killed the Yanmega and then Destiny Bonded on the Gallade or the Magneton, but that's fine, as long as I get the Yanmega out, because he threatens my other 2 Pokemon. He goes for a Volt Switch on my Amoonguss, as I go for a Spore. Now this Gallade gave me a lot more trouble than I actually thought it would. It's at 39% in poisoned. I switch out, expecting the Psycho Cut, which he does go for. So Alamamala. Now, back in 5th gen, I ran Waterfall Alamamala instead of Scald because its special attack is completely useless. I'm thinking about switching back to that again because the damage here would have been a lot more useful than a chance to burn, especially since I'm running Toxic Spikes. But I'm just trying to stall this Gallade out. And he goes for a Drain Punch. As I go for a Scald. And he keeps recovering, and I only have one layer of Toxic Spikes up, so it's not a Toxic, it's a Poison. It's only doing 12% each time. So now I predict the Drain Punch this turn, switch into my Amoonguss, heal up my Alamamala with Regenerator so she doesn't die that turn. And I had to make that play, because if he killed my Alamamala that turn, I lost. Goes for a Psycho Cut as I switch back, and now I can go for a Protect and take out the Gallade. Let it kill itself with poison. And yeah, I mean, That, I mean, I know Gallade has good special defense, but I think that damage is so terrible with Scald. And I have a Will-O-Wisp user, I have a Glare user, I have Toxic Spikes. There's really no need for Scald. I think I'm going to switch it to Waterfall. So he goes for a Thunderbolt, so I switch into a Moongus, and he forfeits. So I just created this team. I think I'm 4-0 right now. I'm really liking it. The only thing I feel like I'm really missing is a Rapid Spinner, which I always like on defensive teams, especially ones with this many grounded Pokemon. I mean, every single Pokemon is affected by spikes. I haven't seen anyone use spikes, but as I said, I only played 4 games. So spikes is definitely a concern for me. If I see them become prevalent, I'm going to probably switch Druddigon with Claydol, who I've always been a fan of. A lot of people don't like Claydol, but I'm a fan of him. I mean, I can take out Toxic Spikes with my Drapion, and I have no one really weak to Stealth Rocks, but we'll see if Spikes is an issue. Thanks for watching. Sorry for going off on a tangent at the end, and hope you like the video. Like, subscribe, whatever you gotta do. And if you ever see me on Showdown, Loop-de-Doop, or Basidio, feel free to PM me. Thanks.